Hi guys, this is Hirosaki. This story is all about what if Naruto was the Dark Phoenix of Konoha. Naruto has a big secret, he isn't the dead last he appears to be. But why would he show that before he is ready to deal with the stones the council loves placing in his way? The Sandaime, having opened his eyes, will do his best to make sure that Konoha will retain the will of fire. Before we start, kindly like and subscribe to this channel and look over the description box for the author of this amazing storyline. Welcome aboard. Chapter 7, Results of the First Day of Training. That evening Kakashi dismissed his Genin team at 6 and reminded them that he would place the resistance seals on Sasuke and Sakura tomorrow, and therefore they were meeting at Training Ground 3 before they would start their laps around the village. Naruto left first to go home. He wanted to work on a seal. Sasuke also walked home, feeling the effects of the hard training he had done over the day. He had to say he was pleased with how the training had gone. True, Naruto was better than him at the moment, but he would catch up. It was only a question of the right training. He felt he was now finally getting closer to Itachi. And he would endure all the hard training Kakashi could throw at him if it got him strong enough to kill Itachi. Sakura felt dead tired. She had never before done that kind of training. She thought Kakashi-sensei was a sadist. How the hell could the boys stand this? Well, Naruto was a freak. Her mother had always told her that, and Sasuke was Sasuke. It was normal that he was better than all others. When she reached her home, she remembered what Kakashi had told them about eating right. She would eat something tonight. But she would also make sure it wouldn't make her fat. She wasn't convinced that a ninja could eat all he wanted. "Hello Sakura, how was your day?" her mother asked. "Strenuous. Please, I need something to eat," she answered. "Sweetie, aren't you on a diet to impress Uchiha-sama?" her mother asked, frowning. "Kakashi-sensei forbid me to diet and told me that ninja wouldn't get fat with all the training they do. I am not completely sure about that though, but if we are training like today all the days, I have to eat more than before. Can I have some salad and fruit?" she asked. Her mother contently nodded. Salad and fruit didn't have a lot of calories. That Jonin didn't seem to understand the principles of getting a good husband. But what could be expected from a man? She took to cutting salad, cucumber, and tomatoes and prepared a bit of dressing for her daughter. "Here, sweetie, there you are. A nice salad to fill your stomach but which won't make you fat," she said, smiling. "Thanks, Mom," Sakura said and began eating. "So what did you do for training?" her mother asked. "Kakashi-sensei tested our physical abilities today. Of course Sasuke was great. He was so much better than me. We had to run 15 laps around the training ground, then we had to sprint from one side of the ground to the other. A slalom through poles, sets of 50 repeats for different exercises. Then we got a lecture on the right diet for a ninja. Can you believe that Kakashi-sensei thinks a ninja should eat 3,500 calories a day?" Sakura asked. "What? But that will make you fat. There is no way you could keep a good figure to impress Sasuke-sama if you ate that much." Her mother was scandalized. "I know. But he seemed serious. For the next week Kakashi-sensei will provide our lunch so we can get an idea what we should pack," he said. "We are to bring snacks for morning and afternoon breaks. Something like fruit, sandwiches, rice balls or vegetables. And a lot to drink. He also recommended eating meat and fish, I think he said, for building muscles," Sakura reported. "But that would make you look ugly. What self-respecting woman would want to look like a muscle mountain?" Sakura's mother asked. "I don't know, but obviously both Sasuke and Naruto agreed with Kakashi." Sakura sighed. "Naruto? He is your second teammate?" her mother asked, worried. "Yes. But he is such a nuisance. He is mean to me and disrespects Sasuke. Just because I told him off for starting to train without Kakashi-sensei being there, he shot me with a senbon with one of his paralyzing poisons. I couldn't move for 10 minutes. Sakura complained. He poisoned you? I will take care of that. I won't allow for that freak to harm my daughter. Sakura's mother screeched. Sakura nodded. Naruto would see what happened if you treated her badly. After all, her mother was on the civilian council. Okay, when do you have to be at your training ground tomorrow? Her mother asked. At 6. Sakura said. He even takes your beauty sleep away. If you weren't on Sasuke-sama's team and therefore in the best position to win him as your husband, I would demand for you to be put on another team, but you will just have to persevere and show Sasuke that you are the only suited girl for him. She said. Don't worry, Mom. I will win him and then I will become Mrs. Sakura Uchiha once we are old enough. Sakura said dreamily. That's my girl. Her mother said proudly. The next morning at 10, Izumi Haruno walked to the meeting room of the civilian council and told that her daughter had been poisoned by the demon. Of course all the other counselors were enraged and thought they now finally had something to get the demon for. They had an Umbu that listened to them sent out so that Naruto was called in. At training ground 3 Team 7 was again going through physical training, this time Kakashi was doing his own exercises at the side of his team. Then an Umbu appeared. Kakashi looked up and asked the Umbu what he wanted. Naruto Uzumaki is to immediately appear at the Hokage Tower on orders of the council. The Umbu informed Kakashi. You say the council gave this order? Kakashi asked. Yes, Kakashi. The Umbu confirmed. He has training now and if you don't have orders from the Hokage I won't let him leave his training. When you have orders from the Hokage come back. Kakashi said and went back to his exercises. The Umbu looked at Kakashi as if he was from another planet, but he also knew that the ex-Umbu wouldn't budge on his opinion. And as the demon brat's sensei he had the power to forbid the brat to leave his training. The Umbu decided it would be best to return to the council to report. In the meeting room the council was preparing to rip the demon apart, but the only one returning was the Umbu they had sent. Where is the boy? Izumi asked. He won't come. Kakashi Hatake gave me the message that he would only let his student leave his training if you had orders from the Hokage. Otherwise his student would stay with him to train. The Umbu said. How dare he? Jinbai Renihara asked enraged. He was a wealthy merchant. We are the council, we deserve respect. Wakata Teiji said. Who does he think he is? I will get that order from the Hokage. Just he waits. Izumi said and stormed to the Hokage's office. The Hokage was working on his paperwork, questioning himself how it always was so much paperwork he had to do. But he couldn't delegate it either because the council would try to pass laws that were only meant to increase their wealth or screw Naruto over. Then Izumi Haruno stormed into his office. He would have to remind her who ruled the village. Hokage-sama, I demand that the boy and his sensei are called in. The brat poisoned my daughter yesterday, but when we sent him a messenger to call him before the council, his sensei refused to let him go. He said he would only allow it if you gave the order. She ranted loudly. Counselor Haruno, you want to tell me that you think you can command me? He asked dangerously. No, Hokage-sama, of course not, but he poisoned my daughter. She said, realizing she had made a mistake by just charging into the office. Do you think you have more power over my ninja than me? The Hokage asked again. No, Hokage-sama. She answered. Then why do you think you can use the Umbu guard the civilian council got as a messenger to command one of my ninja? If you want to question one of my ninja, you will first inform me of the supposed crime said ninja committed. Then I will decide if an order to appear here is justified. Do you understand? he asked icily. Yes, Hokage-sama. She answered intimidated. Good. And your so-called poisoning of your daughter was a paralysing agent that only worked for 10 minutes. Kakashi already took care to solve the issue yesterday and reported to me what he did to prevent such an incident in the future. Make no mistakes, I know what you tried to do. This is your last warning. Stop sabotaging Naruto Uzumaki or you will regret it. Naruto is a ninja under my command and therefore you have no control over him anymore. Leave my office, I have to work. The Hokage dismissed her. When she had fled his office, he called Kat, one of his umbus. Kat, fetch me all the umbu that are tasked with guarding the civilian council. He ordered. Yes, Hokage-sama. Kat answered and vanished. 5 minutes later the 10 umbu that rotated to guard the civilian council knelt before the Hokage. Which one of you was on guard duty for the civilian council today? The Hokage asked. I was, Hokage-sama. Lizard answered. Good, then please explain me, Lizard, why would you leave your post to play messenger for the council? The Hokage asked. They ordered me to fetch Naruto Uzumaki for questioning because he poisoned the daughter of Counselor Harano. Lizard answered. Lizard, do you know the chain of command? The Hokage asked the obviously stupid umbu. Of course, Hokage-sama. Lizard said, not knowing what this was about. Others started seeing what the Hokage was up to. Then please inform me where in that chain the civilian council ranks. The Hokage asked. The council is directly under the Hokage. Lizard answered. Cat, please inform this stupid moron of the true chain of command. The Hokage said, angrily. The civilian council is nowhere in the chain of command. The only part of the council that has commanding power is the ninja council. They rank under the Hokage, the Jonin commander and the Umbu commander, meaning they would be in 4th rank of the chain of command, but only in times where the Hokage is absent from the village or in no condition to command the forces. Which would be in case of a severe illness or death. In case of an illness, the normal ninjas are under the command of the Jonin commander, which at the moment is Shikaku Nara, the Umbu are under the command of the Umbu commander, which is me. The Ninja Council is only consulted in case both Jonin commander and Umbu commander need more authority to get something done. Cat told them. Thank you, Cat. So, get it in your brains that the civilian council has no power to command any of my ninja. The only other orders you are to follow are those of Cat or if he isn't available to, the Ninja Council. I thought my Umbu would know that. So you will only guard the civilian council from the shadows and only one Umbu at a time. You won't make contact and won't follow any of their orders. Am I understood? The Hokage said. Yes, Hokage-sama. The Umbu answered. Dismissed. The Hokage said and the Umbu vanished. The Hokage rubbed his temples. This shouldn't even be an issue. He really needed to clean this mess up as soon as possible. Izumi returned to the meeting room and told her fellow counselors the reaction of the Hokage. They were enraged, but realized there was nothing they could do at the moment. The Hokage had the power to deny them their request and could delegate the punishment of one of his ninjas, especially a genin, to said genin's Jonin sensei. And going up against Kakashi Hatake wasn't a smart thing to do. But they had thought Kakashi would listen to their orders, after all he had followed them and passed his team. Sakura felt like her legs were made of lead. She couldn't feel them anymore. The resistance seal Kakashi-sensei had placed on her first thing in the morning was horrible. She felt like she couldn't move at all. This was not like wading through water, this was much harder. Thankfully they had a break now. She couldn't take another step. Sasuke was tired. The resistance seals were the real deal. No wonder that Naruto had become strong using them. But now that he was also using them, he would become that strong as well. It would take some time, but he knew the prize was worth it. He was getting closer to attacking. He looked at his teammates and his sensei. Naruto didn't look any more tired than normal. But he was already used to working with this kind of seal. Kakashi of course was also doing well. He had been surprised that his sensei had joined them doing the exercises, but also pleased. It felt like they were all comrades to him, not only subordinates he had to train. Of course Kakashi's training program was harder than theirs, but it was something to strive to get to. The worst part of the day was the morning run. He had felt so damnable slow with the seal. Especially when Kakashi and Naruto ran more laps than him and Sakura. He had been jealous of Naruto again, but he swallowed his feelings and told himself he would soon enough surpass his blonde teammate. And Naruto had even told him the key to learn using the seals faster. You had to strengthen your muscles with chakra. Once it felt normal again if you used chakra, you had to reduce the amount of chakra to get the same effect on your own. Well, except if you didn't train, then it would be best to just train your muscles without chakra. With the seals staying active for the next 2 weeks he would see if that was true. Okay, that was enough of a break. Next part of our training is teamwork. Kakashi said. How are we going to do this, sensei? Naruto asked. We will do several exercises that will teach you to trust your teammates. Kakashi said. He took out 2 scarves and handed them to Sakura and Naruto. Tie them around your eyes. He instructed them. They did. Kakashi handed Sasuke a piece of wood and a small metal bar. Then he prepared some obstacles in a small round course. The intention of this test is to lead your teammates safely through the course, only using Morse code. You learned the code at the academy. Now, you will Morse them where to go, what to be aware of and so on. The only possibility they have to finish the course is following your instructions. No talking at all. Kakashi said. We will start with Naruto, then Sakura. Once you are finished, we will change places, I will change the course and we will repeat it until each of you went through the course twice and led the others once. Kakashi said. Sasuke nodded. He took the wood and the metal bar and began drumming his message to lead Naruto. It was harder than he thought it would be. He had to remember all the commands. And morsing words like left, right, forward, stop and so on took more time than he thought they would. Thankfully Naruto seemed to know the Morse code well enough to follow his commands without problem. Finally Naruto was done. Now it was Sakura's turn. Sasuke began drumming again. Naruto took off his scarf and watched how Sakura fared. He had noticed some problems while he was in the course and now by watching Sakura, the problems seemed even stronger. They needed shorter signals that weren't normal Morse code. Especially as remembering all the Morse signals was a problem if you were pressed for time, which he guessed would be the next thing Kakashi would have them do. So he went through the Morse signals and decided what would be proper short signals to work with. Finally Sakura, after misinterpreting the signals Sasuke gave her twice, was done with the course. Okay, next Sakura will give the signals and Naruto and Sasuke will do the course. Kakashi announced and Sakura handed her scarf to Sasuke, blushing. Sasuke just took the scarf and tied it around his head, Naruto put his back on. Kakashi changed the course and now Sakura was trying to get Sasuke through the course, which was a lot worse than the 2 tries Sasuke had with morsing. Sasuke ran into stones, tripped over logs, went too far to the left once, because Sakura wasn't fast enough with her signals. When Sasuke was finally finished, he was cursing. Naruto then went into the course and after hitting a log he always waited for Sakura to finish her signals. Once he heard new signals he stopped to process the new information. It took horribly long, but he avoided further problems that way. Next is Naruto morsing. Kakashi said. Sasuke, Sakura, I will use 4 signals outside the normal Morse code. 4 long signals mean left, 4 short ones mean right. 1 short and 1 long signal mean forward. 1 long and 1 short means back, and 1 short signal, which will be louder than the rest, means stop. The others I will Morse with normal Morse code. He explained them. Sasuke nodded. After the disaster with Sakura leading him, that was sensible. Sakura grudgingly also nodded. She had hated being the worst in a discipline she should have been good at. But she hadn't thought to practice Morse code much in the academy. It was after all such an overcome method to send messages and everybody could overhear them. Sakura was the first to go through the changed course now. Naruto's idea to shorten the commands was working well. She managed to get through the course with only making a mistake once, and then the stop signal prevented something happening. Sasuke then went through the course and was happy to notice that with Naruto giving the signals he didn't get hit by obstacles once. He also noticed that he had to get used to differentiating left and right first, as they were so similar. When he came out of the course, he took off the scarf and turned to Naruto. Your idea with shortening the signals worked well, but we should think of 2 signals that are more different from each other for left and right. A different number of signals would be best. In the beginning it was a bit confusing to recognize short and long signals. Sasuke informed Naruto. Okay, that makes sense. Perhaps left 2 short signals and right 4 short signals. As we stop after that signal, it can't be thought to be a complete message anyway, so it doesn't matter if it is also the signal for a letter. Naruto admitted. Good, now I want to discuss the things you learned with this exercise. Kakashi said, having his team sit down. We had to always concentrate to get the signals of the one morsing. And with the shorter signals it was easier to get it. Sakura said. It takes practice to react accordingly to the signals. You can't rely on your own senses that much, as we normally rely on our eyes to navigate. Sasuke said. Wrong signals can be dangerous. If a signal is too long and not correct, we hit the obstacles. Sometimes it was safer to go slowly than to hit something. Naruto said. All those are correct. This exercise teaches you to always find the best possible way to fulfill an exercise. As you noticed, the shorter signals were easier to process. But even if you shorten them, you need to make them different enough to not get confused. We will practice with Morse signals in the future. I want you to make sure you are fluent in the signals the day after tomorrow. So if you are still a bit out of practice, I suggest you use the breaks tomorrow to read up on the code. Okay, now we will do something more physical again. Naruto, I need 20 shadow clones. Kakashi said. Naruto made the clones. You really are abusing my ability to make them, sensei. Naruto grumbled a bit. Well, tough luck. A ninja needs to use everything he has at his disposal, and for me that means sometimes using your shadow clone jutsu to get the necessary number of opponents for training exercises. And you know you don't even feel the drain of 20 clones. Kakashi said. Okay. We are practicing dodging projectiles now. I will demonstrate it. Naruto, have your clones throw those rubber balls on me. Kakashi said, pointing at 2 bags full of red rubber balls the size of golf balls. Gladly, sensei. Naruto said with a grin. The clones took position around Kakashi. You can start in 20 seconds and keep it up for 5 minutes straight. Kakashi told the clones. They nodded and waited until the 20 seconds were up. Then they started pelting Kakashi with the balls. Kakashi dodged, jumped, deflected, and spun out of the way of the balls. The only place on his body the balls ever hit was his hands. Then the 5 minutes were over. That's the exercise. You're only allowed to have the balls hit you on your hands to deflect them. In a fight you only have the possibility to deflect weapons that are thrown at you with kunai in your hands, or by intercepting them with your own weapons. That will be part of a later exercise. For now, We'll only work on dodging and deflecting in a limited area. As you aren't as used to this kind of exercise as I am, you'll work with 10 shadow clones throwing balls at you each," Kakashi said. Naruto made 10 more clones. Then the clones spread to surround the 3 genin. Naruto was used to doing this with higher numbers of clones, but it wouldn't be good to inform his teammates of that fact yet. Kakashi gave the signal to start and had his genin practice dodging. In the evening at 8, Kakashi dismissed his team. He had Sasuke and Sakura continue their tree climbing while he took Naruto and played shogi with him. He was pleasantly surprised how well Naruto did with the strategy game. In the end, Kakashi managed to win, but the game was pretty evenly matched. Kakashi walked towards the Hokage Tower to hand in his report for the day and to ask the Hokage about the incident with the civilian council calling Naruto in. He reached the office and knocked at the door. The Hokage, still working despite the late hour, called him in. "Ah, Kakashi. You had your team train long today?" The Hokage noticed. "Yes, Hokage-sama. I think it's best for now to keep them busy. And it seems Sasuke is happy enough to train the whole day. I have the impression he didn't feel challenged enough at the academy. Naruto will take some time to warm up to me, but he is doing well so far. Today I played shogi with him while I had Sasuke and Sakura practice tree climbing. He is quite good in the game. I think he was really surprised when I told him that we would play shogi while the other 2 did their exercise. By the way, the civilian council sent an umbu to us, calling Naruto to the council. I refused to follow the order, but you should take care of that," Kakashi said. "I already did and put them in their place. I think they will still try to get rid of Naruto in the future, but the umbu have already been reminded that I am the one who gives orders in the village. Cat is having an eye on the umbu now to make sure they won't follow the council's orders anymore. I have called Shikaku to have him brief the normal forces on the issue," the Hokage informed Kakashi. "That's good to know. It's high time the council was reminded of their real power and not the one they think they have," Kakashi agreed. "Yes. I wish I could do more, but somehow the amount of paperwork I get doesn't let me," he complained. Kakashi had an idea. After seeing Naruto using the jutsu so much, he thought it would also help the Hokage. "Why don't you use shadow clones? I mean, I know that Naruto used them for his training and I have to admit I am abusing his ability to make them for training the others as well. With the memory transfer they would be perfect to help you get the paperwork done much faster," Kakashi suggested. "Shadow clones?" the Hokage said, shocked. "Damn it, why didn't I think of that earlier? That must be the secret how Minato always managed to get it done so fast," he raged. "Well, Sensei did use that jutsu for many things," Kakashi admitted. "From tomorrow on I will use it. I'm done for today. Screw the paperwork," the Hokage declared. Kakashi's sweat dropped. Perhaps it would be best to just leave the Hokage now. He didn't seem to be that sane at the moment, judging by the insane laugh he was sporting now. Chapter 8, The Hokage Gets Serious. The next day at 9 the Hokage arrived at his office, seeing that new amounts of paperwork had been placed on his desk. He grinned evilly and made 2 shadow clones, and now 3 Sandaime Hokages were sorting through the paperwork. What he found enraged him. Before he hadn't really noticed just how many useless documents he got on his desk. This looked like a conspiracy. After 2 hours he was sure. Many of those decrees the civilian council wanted to have signed were only meant to increase their wealth and didn't help the village as a whole. Some that were slipped into his mountain of work were outright attempts to legally abuse Naruto. Like the hot springs requesting to be able to deny people they think unsuited to use the premises entry. Or the grocers asking to set taxes for their goods themselves. No, this would stop. The problem was that he had lost insight what was really happening in the village. But who could know the real circumstances? He had a second look at the documents that were the fishiest. He would have to check the laws and decrees that had already been passed without him really noticing. Then he had an idea. It would be a bit risky, but he would have the information he needed. "Crow, get me Elder Danzo Shimura here," the Hokage ordered. Crow vanished from his post and 10 minutes later it knocked at the door. "Enter," the Hokage said. Danzo walked in, using his cane. "You called me, Hokage-sama?" Danzo asked. "Yes, thanks for coming so promptly, Danzo. I have some things to discuss with you," the Hokage said and activated the privacy seals. Danzo wondered what had happened to have Hiruzen so serious. Did he find out about his route? Improbable. He had erased his traces very well. So what could he want? "Please take a seat, this will take some time," the Hokage said and Danzo sat down. "Just this morning I came upon a serious problem with the finances of the village. It seems that thanks to the amounts of paperwork I have to deal with daily, some decrees that deprive the village of funds have been passed. Sadly I don't know yet how much money was displaced that way. We both know that the strength of our military depends on the proper funds. I have some suspicions where the funds went, but I need to investigate this without the culprits finding out about it. That's where you come in. I want you to take your route and find all the dirt the ones that embezzle our funds have hidden," the Hokage said. "You know that you ordered me to disband Root years ago, Hiruzen," Danzo said, now dropping the honorifics. "And we both know that you ignored that order and only took your ninja and went underground. Don't think I am stupid, Danzo. I let you get away with it, because you and your root are useful for the village. As long as I officially disbanded you, nobody could say anything against it. And if your training methods wouldn't be so despicable, I wouldn't even have had to do it. But we always differed in our opinions there. Nonetheless, your root are a part of the military of Konoha. A well-hidden part, but it is still financed by the village." Danzo kept quiet. He wouldn't have thought that Hiruzen had known all the time. It seemed he had underestimated his old rival. "What do you intend to do now?" he asked. "Oh, as long as you follow my orders, nothing. As I said, you are useful. But if you go against me, I will end you. Simple as that," the Hokage told Danzo. "Why now of all times, Hiruzen? What has changed?" Danzo asked. "We both know that I am too old to be Hokage. I wanted to retire long ago and thought that with Minato leading the village would be strong and still retain the will of fire. Sadly he died sealing the Kyuubi away. I didn't really want to take back the hat, but did it because I saw it as my duty to protect the village. The same is true for you, you are the same age as I am. We both are not really suitable candidates for the position. We should only enjoy our retirement and give advice to the younger generation. But we both have still a duty we are fulfilling. I have called back Jiraiya to discuss with him my choice of successor," the Hokage informed Danzo. "You want to make Jiraiya your successor?" Danzo asked disbelievingly. "Do you think that is wise? While he is strong enough to take the position, I don't think he would be a good administrator. No, Jiraiya wouldn't even want to be Hokage. And it would be a shame to let his spy network go to waste. I had considered Tsunade, but with her dislike for the village because of her losses in the past, I doubt she would return, even if she would be the best choice. No, I called Jiraiya back to get his opinion on the candidate I chose," the Hokage said. "Are you going to tell me who you chose?" Danzo asked, now interested. Especially as he wondered why Hiruzen was informing him. They had always been at odds with their opinion how the village should be led. "Can't you deduct it yourself?" the Hokage asked. Danzo thought about it. He went over all the jonin of the village. There were only a few that were suited. The most probable candidate was Kakashi. Danzo asked. Yes. If you think about it, he is the only real option we have. He has orders to get back to his old strength. He also is tasked with taking care of our two most difficult new genin. He informed Danzo. Sasuke Uchiha and Naruto Uzumaki. I already heard that the Uzumaki boy was hiding his true abilities. Impressive if you ask me. Danzo said. Indeed. Both boys don't have many ties that bind them to the village. Sadly, I haven't been able to really remedy that fact until they graduated from the academy. Now that they are ninja, I can correct the bad influence the civilian council had on them. I only hope that it isn't too late already. That's Kakashi's main task for now. But if I want Kakashi to take over for me once he is ready and his team has been promoted, I need to clean up the current mess as much as possible. Otherwise things wouldn't really change, and from Jiraiya's reports I know that things will get troubling sooner than I like. The Hokage said. Danzo had to agree. He knew from his own spies that there was a mercenary group that took many high-class missions for some of the other villages. They consisted of S-rank missing nins, but their goals were unknown so far. Then there was the new village Oto. He hadn't been able to find out much about it. And he had somewhat lost sight of Orochimaru after he had finished the surgery he had hired him for on his arm. Thankfully Hiruzen didn't seem to know about the Sharinans he had implanted in his eye and his arm. That wouldn't be tolerated in any way. So how do you want me to do this? Danzo asked. I will go through the laws that were passed myself with a few shadow clones over the next few days. I want you to send me 2 of your root agents that are skilled in administration. One will replace the current secretary and one will go through the jungle of paperwork that is put on my desk each day. I only want him to sort it in categories that make the most sense. Before we can confront the ones responsible, we need to know the whole picture. I want 3 of your agents to go through the decrees that have been passed since Minato's death. They are to write them down chronologically. I will go through them as soon as they are done. 5 of your agents are to inspect the way business is done in the village without being seen. I have the suspicion that many businessmen are evading taxes. That they demand more taxes than what is legal. I know I have been too passive the past years, but I intend to rectify at least some of my mistakes before I let Kakashi take over. If everything goes well, I will announce him as my successor during the final round of the Chunin exams in 6 months. Normally he should get his team ready to take them in the 6 months he has. The only shaky candidate is Sakura. I don't know if she will persevere in her choice of career. Kakashi has orders to put his team through the grinder. The Hokage said. That is a sound plan. In 6 months of constant training he should also be back to his past strength and perhaps have got to S rank level. If I remember right, he was close when he quit Umbu. I will send my agents for the tower in 1 hour, Hiruzen, and send the ones for the village out as well. How do you want to organize the reporting? Danzo asked. I want your agents to report back to me in 3 days. They should have a first impression by then. I guess we will need 2 or 3 weeks to get all the documents checked. The Hokage sighed. Danzo nodded. It was good to see that the god of shinobi intended to go out with a last major strike. Team 7 stood in the mission office to get their first mission. Sakura was relieved to get a mission for a change. A mission meant that she wouldn't have to go through what she had dubbed Kakashi's training from hell. She had been sore every day of last week after training. The weekend had been training free for them, but Kakashi had given them homework. Thankfully it was all theory, but it would be tested during this week's training hours. She had to spend 5 hours reading up and practicing hand signals that were used by the Konoha military forces. These signals would be part of their teamwork exercises. And of course she had to practice a new chakra control exercise. sticking 5 leaves to her arms. She had known how to do it with 1 leaf since the academy, but now Kakashi had told them they had to stick 5 leaves to their arms and keep them there 2 hours without losing them once. She had hated the exercise. She always lost control and had to start new. Why would it help them to be able to do that exercise? And she also hadn't had much time taking care of her body to impress Sasuke. Her hair was messy than ever before, her skin was losing some of its shine and she got calluses on her hands. How should she ever get Sasuke this way? More, she couldn't stop herself from eating all the food Kakashi gave them, even if it was way too fat. She had tried to only eat a bit of it, but her stomach was betraying her. Her mother had promised her to take care of her lunchboxes from this week on. She would make sure she ate low-fat. The 3 genin listened to the Hokage when he told Kakashi the available missions. Sakura was glad. Most of those missions didn't sound that bad. Babysitting for the minister, weeding a garden for a council member, yes, she could do that. We take cleaning out the field of Mr. Takashima, Hokage-sama. Kakashi decided. Sakura wanted to cry. That was another hard exercise. And it was a bit outside of the village. Mr. Takashima had just started a farm 2 miles outside of Konoha. There would be no chance to rest and flirt with Sasuke from what she could tell. And she was sure Kakashi would make the way there another exercise. Alright, team. We won't need any special equipment. Any farming tools we might need will be at the farm. Let's go. Kakashi said and left the office. Naruto and Sasuke turned the cleaning of the field into a challenge. They would start on one side of the field and each had a clone of Naruto with them to take the waste which they pulled from the field. 5 other clones of Naruto would sort through their findings and sort them. The small stones would be put aside for a pond Mr. Takashima wanted to build later. The bigger ones would be used for walls to surround the property. Sticks and bigger branches would either be shredded later or burned. Some would perhaps be used as stabilizers for vegetable plants. That would be Mr. Takashima's decision. Sakura was also cleaning her part with the shadow clone taking care of getting the waste away, but she was way slower than the 2 boys. Sasuke wanted to prove that he could go the same pace as Naruto and Naruto wanted to shove it into the Uchiha's face that there were people better than him. Kakashi watched the whole action amused. The competitiveness between Naruto and Sasuke would only end in the mission getting done faster. Perhaps he could get the team to 2 missions a day in a few weeks. But then again, his goal was taking only missions that wouldn't get his team in close contact with the villagers too much. Wow, your students are doing good work. I'm surprised they are that fast. Mr. Takashima said. Well, they are ninjas, they should be faster than civilians. And they don't even use their abilities besides Naruto making his shadow clones to assist. Kakashi answered. Are your 2 male students by any chance overly competitive? Mr. Takashima asked. A bit. But as long as it results in better work, I don't mind. Kakashi said. He looked at Sakura. The girl was already slowing down. Hey, Sakura, don't get slower. This is also meant as a strength-building exercise. He shouted to her. Sakura returned to her former pace. She was slowing down. Mr. Takashima asked surprised. Yes, she sometimes needs a good push to do her best, but we are working on that. Kakashi replied unconcerned. Mr. Takashima wondered about this, but then again, who could really understand how ninjas worked? After 4 hours the field was cleared of all things that would be in the way of farming. Wow, good work. I didn't think it would be done today. Mr. Takashima told the team happily. No problem, Mr. Takashima, that's our job. Kakashi said. I have some refreshments prepared for you and your team, Mr. Haytake. Mr. Takashima said. As a sign of my gratitude for the good and speedy work. That we'll gladly accept, Kakashi said. You heard Mr. Takashima. Wash your hands and then come over to get some snacks. Kakashi called out to his team. The three nodded and went to the hose to wash their dirty hands. Soon they were back with Kakashi. Well, Naruto and Sasuke were. Sakura needed a bit longer, being exhausted after 4 hours of constant hard work. Additionally, she had to deal with the effects of the gravity seals, which made her slower. With her small reserves, she had massive problems to keep the effects of the seals from influencing her too much. Mr. Takashima and his wife were presenting the genin with a plate of sushi each. My wife led a sushi restaurant before we came to Konoha from Water Country. Mr. Takashima explained. Why did you move? Sakura asked, eating gratefully. Well, in Water Country there is a civil war going on. The Mizukage, the leader of Kiri, has declared all those that possess a bloodline limit devils and responsible for the horrors of wars. They are hunted down mercilessly. But even we civilians are sometimes involved in the fights of the two sides, the one following the Mizukage and the one opposing him, who think that the bloodline limit users, who fought for Kiri in the past, shouldn't be persecuted. We didn't want to be killed in the middle of those fights and decided it would be safer to move here. Mrs. Takashima informed the genin. Sasuke was shocked. People who had a bloodline limit like his clan were hunted down in Water Country? But why? Normally the clans that had a bloodline limit were the strongest in a village's military. Like his clan had been. Their Sharingan had been praised in Konoha. Naruto silently ate his sushi. He could empathize with the rebels. Nobody would take being hunted down for something that had helped his village in the past. And what choice did those people have? They were just born like that. An ability wasn't evil in itself. It was how you used it. These are really good, Mrs. Takashima. Sakura said, not really getting the mood of her two teammates. Thanks, dear. Mrs. Takashima answered. The civilian council was at a loss how they had lost a good part of their power in such short a time. The Hokage seemingly had suddenly grown a backbone. He was keeping the ninjas that formerly had done their bidding under a firm watch. It had taken them a week to find out, but both the Jonin commander and the Anbu commander had given orders to all ninjas that the civilian council had no say in shinobi matters. They had no authority to order ninja to do anything. The Hokage, after all ninjas had been informed, even the new genin had been told the orders, had given them a warning to not try to usurp his power. Trying to usurp the Hokage's power was treason and would be handled accordingly. They had held a meeting to discuss their options, but soon realized that there was nothing they could do. The Hokage held the power of the military. They only had control over the civilian affairs as long as they didn't threaten the military strength of the village. That meant withholding service from shinobi in any way or sabotaging the goods sold to shinobi. They knew if they continued to treat the demon like he deserved to be treated, they would face the Hokage's wrath. After checking on the sales numbers of the past 3 years, they made a surprising discovery. The only things the demon brat had bought from them were the occasional fresh products like milk and eggs. Nothing else. How did the brat do that? As much as they tried to find out, they couldn't wrap their minds around it. The brat was the dead last of his class. A failure as a ninja. There should have been no way for him to manage that. In the shadows, Gazelle, the Anbu on duty, grinned under his mask. This promised to be interesting in the future. He was one of the Anbu that were more than tired of the arrogant behavior of the civilian council. Having them obsessed with trying to figure out how the so-called demon brat managed to trick them was indeed amusing. And from what Kakashi told about his team, the blonde was really good. After finishing their snack, Kakashi took his team back to the Hokage Tower to report about the mission. He had made his genin run the whole way back in a sprint. After all, 2 miles should be nothing for a ninja, even a fresh genin should be able to do it. When they reached the gates, Sakura wanted to collapse. Her sensei was definitely a sadist. Team 7 reporting back from a D-rank mission. Kakashi informed the guards. Already? Didn't you have that field clearing mission? One of the Chunin asked. Yes, my team was just good in their time. Kakashi answered. Okay, we have noted you being back. The other Chunin said, and Kakashi led his team to the tower. Did you also have the impression that 2 of the 3 genin were about to collapse? One asked. Yes. The Uchiha is hiding it somewhat well, but the girl was really obvious. Strangely, Uzumaki didn't seem tired. The other answered. All ninjas had been briefed to not refer to Naruto by any derogative terms, so most just called him Uzumaki when they talked about him. I wouldn't think he would be tired after a sprint. Don't you remember how we had to hunt him down after one of his pranks? If he has practice in anything, then it is running at high speeds. The first one said, snorting. True. His partner replied. In the Hokage Tower, Kakashi instructed his genin to watch how he made his report, as they would be required to do it themselves in the near future. Team 7 back for report. Kakashi stated. The Chunin on duty nodded and took out a notepad for a short summary. Kakashi would later hand in a thorough written report about the performance of his team. After all, the Hokage just wanted to get an overview of the successfully fulfilled missions every day. Team 7 was tasked with clearing out the field of the newly moved in Takashima couple. Genins Harano, Uchiha, and Uzumaki took to clearing the field of stones, wood and other waste, leaving the remains for shadow clones of Uzumaki to be sorted into categories for later use by the Takashimas. After 4 hours of work, the field was finished. Individual report on the performance of my genin will follow in my written report. Kakashi said. Good, the short report will be handed in to Hokage-sama. The Chunin confirmed. I have a question, Kakashi-sensei. Naruto asked. Yes, Naruto. Kakashi answered. Is there a possibility for a genin to take more D-rank missions outside of the ones a team does? He asked, looking at an immense amount of missions labeled D-rank. With the permission of Hokage-sama and the Jonin sensei of said genin, it is definitely possible. Why, are you interested? Kakashi asked. You know that I am an orphan and I need to earn money some way. This would be the easiest way for me to do it. I could give some missions to my shadow clones and let them do the missions while I am busy with our team's training. Naruto argued. If Hokage-sama agrees, I don't see any reason to not allow it as long as you do the missions properly. But I want you to keep it to 3 missions a day. I don't want you to be too tired from chakra exhaustion for your team training. Kakashi said. Naruto looked at Kakashi as if he was crazy. Sensei, chakra exhaustion is no problem for me and you know it. I would have to fire A-rank jutsus around for 5 hours in a row to get exhausted. And even then I would probably be up again after an hour of resting and eating. He said. Kakashi had to agree with the statement, but didn't comment. Naruto, don't brag with false abilities. You can't have that much chakra. Sakura scolded. No, Sakura, Naruto is right in his statement, he does have overly large chakra reserves. He has been born with them and his training only increased them over time. Kakashi admonished her. He would have thought she was too tired to argue after all the hard work of today. But he can't have more chakra than Sasuke. Sasuke was always the best and the strongest at the academy. She protested. Didn't you realize yet that I faked my abilities in the academy? I would have thought all the training sessions last week would have made that much clear. Sasuke has large reserves for a fresh genin, that's true, and compared to the others in our class he has the largest reserves, but he is nowhere near my level. Naruto set her straight. How big could your reserves be, idiot? She sneered. Cage level. Kakashi said, shocking both Sakura and Sasuke. Naruto's reserves are the biggest of anyone in the village. But large reserves alone don't make a good ninja. You need to have good control over your chakra too and the experience from fighting opponents. Naruto nodded. He knew the only thing he really needed for a promotion to Chunin was said experience. He had the abilities and control without a doubt. But even he had to admit, he was getting better and stronger with Kakashi's intense training. Training on his own had given him a very good base to work with, but the teamwork exercises his sensei came up with helped him practice to really use the theoretical skills he had. It would be invaluable in the field. He knew the old man wouldn't promote him to Jonin straight away, but if he got the experience he needed in the next 6 months until the Chunin exams, only a natural catastrophe or something similar would be able to prevent his promotion. Kakashi dismissed his team with the reminder to be at the gates at 6 like the other mornings. The next morning Naruto got the information from Kakashi that the Hokage had agreed to let him do 3 additional D-rank missions a day as long as Naruto was not on a mission outside of the village at the time. Naruto made 10 clones and sent one of them to the mission office to get the missions for him. The idea was a spontaneous one. He knew that he had his parents' money that he would get as soon as he was declared the Namikaze and Uzumaki heir at the Chunin exams, and he also had a good amount of money from his trips into the Forest of Death after the last Chunin exams in there, but he also didn't want anybody to know about that. So him taking more D-ranks solo would give him a good cover and more money. Thankfully the payment was going to the mission office before it was transferred to the ninja's account. Around lunch, a Chunin arrived at the training ground. Kakashi, Naruto Uzumaki is to come to the Hokage's office immediately. Here is the order of Hokage-sama, he said. Kakashi checked the order and saw it was genuine. Naruto, you are wanted by Hokage-sama, he said to his genin. Naruto nodded and stopped his exercise. Once you are finished with whatever Hokage-sama wants, you are to come back to continue training, Kakashi ordered. Yes, Kakashi-sensei, Naruto said and took off towards the tower. Okay, you two back to chakra control training, Kakashi said. Sakura groaned and Sasuke just continued training tree walking while sticking a leaf to each back of his hands with chakra. Naruto arrived at the tower and walked towards the Hokage's office. He looked at the secretary that surprisingly didn't glare at him. He had also never seen her before. I was called by Hokage-sama to come here immediately, Naruto said neutrally and handed her the note that Chunin had given Kakashi. I will see if Hokage-sama is available, the new secretary said. Soon Naruto was in the Hokage's office. Ah, Naruto, good that you came so fast, the Hokage greeted. Why did you want to see me, old man? Naruto asked. As nobody but the hidden Anbu was in the room, he could treat the Hokage informal. 2 reasons. First, I have opened an account for you at the Shinobi Bank. While the civilian council has been warned that any sabotage of shinobi will be treated like treason, I doubt they will really fall in line. The Shinobi Bank is run by retired shinobi and under the direct control of the Hokage. All your payments will go to that account. Second, I wanted to talk to you about your expertise in Fuinjutsu. Yesterday our main supplier for seals died on a mission. As seals are a delicate topic, I can't just import pre-made seals from outside the village. Too much potential for sabotage. While some of our ninjas can make the basic seals for their needs, most of our forces just buy them at shinobi equipment shops or are given them from the armory if the mission requires them, the Hokage explained. So you want me to take over for the killed ninja? Naruto clarified. Yes, this would be treated as an ongoing secret B-rank mission for your file. You will be paid by the number of seals you made. The current payment for 20 explosive tags for example is 1,430 ryo. You will be given a list with the prices you will be paid for each kind of seal. If you supply other useful seals, we will decide on their prices accordingly. The Hokage said. Okay, but won't people protest if they know that I made those seals? I am not the most well-liked guy in the village after all, and many would accuse me of trying to kill them through faulty seals. Naruto said. That won't be a problem, because the seals will be distributed under the codename Dark Phoenix. The Hokage assured Naruto. Okay, that would work. What about the supplies to make the seals, and how many seals do you need right now? Naruto asked. The Hokage took a piece of paper and handed it to Naruto. Naruto looked over the seals that were needed. For the supplies, you can get the paper and ink at Jakunato's and put it on the village armory tab. Just use a henge when you get them. He handed him a permission document. Consider it done, old man. They will be ready tomorrow morning. Naruto said. So fast? The Hokage asked, surprised. Shadow clones. Naruto only said, grinning. Ah, of course. Well, then I won't keep you from your training anymore, Naruto. The Hokage said. Naruto nodded and left the room. Outside the tower he made a shadow clone and gave it the permission document and let it go buying the supplies for the seals. He himself went back to his training ground. He informed Kakashi that he had got an ongoing mission for the Hokage to supply the village with seals. Keeping it a secret from his sensei wouldn't have made any sense, as Kakashi already knew about his identity and his real abilities. That's it for this reading. Hit like and subscribe for a free ticket pass going to the different worlds of anime fanfictions. Looking forward to having you on board again.